So you said John's not at the top of your list for that one. You know, maybe don't rule it out, but who is? Can you give us a little bit of?
I just said Conor McGregor.
Conor. So that's
Conor
the main
McGregor
event
has
you want.
always been that guy. Ronda Rousey too.
Are you going to be a part of this White House card?
I don't know. I'm definitely training constantly for the opportunity. My goal is to just show Dana how serious I am about being in the event, and I hope he chooses me.
I need people I can count on for this fight, and I know who they are. I know who they are not.
Gotcha.
Dana White has made it clear that Jon Jones is not at the top of his list for the UFC's White House card, despite Jones showing interest and willingness to fight. Instead, White strongly hinted that Conor McGregor will headline the event, praising him as the kind of fighter the UFC can always count on, even in uncertain situations.
What do you think Jon would do in the next couple of months that would make me trust putting him on the White House card?
I would not trust him, but I would like to see him fight Aspinall on that card.
If I had to make odds, it's 1,000,000,000 to 1 that I put Jon Jones on the White House card.
Dana White revealed that Jon Jones personally reached out and apologized for how the Tom Aspinall situation played out, but he still made it clear that Jones won't be headlining the UFC's White House event. He explained that for such a historic card, the priority is having fighters he can fully rely on, hinting that Conor McGregor is the one more likely to fill that role.
You said Jon Jones called you, and he apologized. What was that conversation like?
Well, it wasn't a conversation. He reached out. He wrote like a text saying, "Listen, sorry how this all played out or whatever. You know, I want to fight at the White House. I'm serious about that." And just one of those type of.
Has that changed your view?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
So there's no chance he's going to be
No,
on the White
I
House
appreciate it. I appreciate him reaching out and doing that, but I need people I can count on for this fight, and I know who they are. I know who they are not.
Gotcha.
On the other hand, Jon Jones has emphasized that he is pushing hard to be part of the UFC White House event, stressing that he feels in great shape and is preparing daily. He says his main goal is to prove to Dana White that he's serious about the opportunity, though he admits the final call is not his to make. Jones also pointed to his involvement in the UFC's new media projects as a sign of his good standing, and believes it could strengthen his chances of being included on the card.
I feel freaking tremendous. I'm training constantly. The brand's in a great place. We're doing really cool things, cool people like yourself, and I'm just happy to be here.
Are you going to be a part of this White House card?
I don't know. I'm definitely training constantly for the opportunity. My goal is to just show Dana how serious I am about being in the event, and I hope he chooses me. But ultimately, it's in his hands. He's the boss.
It's got to be a good sign that you're here, though. Like with CBS and Paramount Plus and this big UFC deal, I feel like if you weren't in everyone's good graces right now, I probably wouldn't be talking to you, right?
Exactly. It's a great sign that I'm not only here, but a part of the production and part of the show.
Jon Jones further clarified that he's not retired and still training 5 days a week while staying active in the UFC's drug testing pool. He said he's preparing himself for the UFC's planned White House event and will be ready if called upon, though he stressed that the final decision rests with Dana White.
First and foremost, are you retired?
I am not retired. I'm actively training 5 days a week, and I'm in the UFC's drug testing pool.
Great. And what's the status of the fight at the White House?
I don't really know. It's kind of out of my control right now. I'm training for the event. I'll be ready for the event. That's my goal. That's my intention. But ultimately, it's up to the boss.
However, Dana White rules out Jon Jones headlining the UFC's White House card, saying the spot belongs to Conor McGregor. He explains that while Jon Jones is ready, he needs fighters he can fully count on. And McGregor has always been that guy who shows up when it matters most. Dana adds that while many talk tough, few deliver behind the scenes the way McGregor does, also naming Ronda Rousey as someone with that same reliability.
On that card, what does Jon Jones have to do to get on a White House card?
Well, Jon Jones doesn't have to train 5 days a week now. The fight isn't until next. You know,
he just looks like he's jazzed up. He's ready.
Yeah.
You know, this is a renewed Jon.
He has made it very clear to me that this is what he wants to do. But I need people on this card that I can count on. That no matter what happens, opponents get switched out or whatever happens, I need guys that I can absolutely count on that are going to show up that night. So, and say what you want about Conor McGregor, because people like to talk shit about that too, but he is that guy.
Yeah.
And he's always been that guy. I've been in the room. I've been on the phone. I've been, lots of people like to talk tough publicly. But behind the scenes, it's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
When the shit hits the fan, who's really willing to go out and Conor McGregor has always been that guy.
So you said John's not at the top of your list for that one. You know, maybe don't rule it out, but who is? Can you give us a little bit of?
I just said Conor McGregor.
Conor. So that's
Conor
the main
McGregor
event
has
you want.
always been that guy. Ronda Rousey too.
John Jones responds to Dana White's lack of interest in adding him to the UFC's White House card by saying he's still training and remains hopeful. He acknowledges that the decision is ultimately Dana's, but feels encouraged that the idea has not been ruled out. Jones calls the opportunity another source of motivation, admitting that not every dream comes true while expressing confidence in his chances, reminding people that beating the odds is what made him John Bones Jones in the first place. John Jones said, "Despite the odds, I'm still training and optimistic about the possibility of being part of the White House event. At the end of the day, Dana is the boss, and it's his call whether I compete that night or not." I do know Dana was really excited about the fight, and that the door hasn't been completely closed. That's all a guy like me really needs. It sounds like another awesome goal to be inspired by. Sometimes in life, we're not going to reach everything we set out to do, and that's okay, but I like my chances. After all, 1 in 8 billion is exactly what it took to end up as John Bones Jones in the first place. On the other hand, fans are growing excited for the return of a heavyweight title fight after nearly a year, as Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane are all set to fight for heavyweight title at UFC 321. Daniel Cormier also shares his thoughts on the upcoming title fight between Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane, saying it's exciting to finally see the matchup fans have been waiting for. He points out that the odds list Aspinall at -325 at Gane at +265, but believes the fight is much closer than those numbers suggest.
We finally got Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane. Chill, we've been screaming about this Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane for a long time. UFC 321, Tom -325, Gane +260. We finally got the fight, but the world doesn't seem to believe, Chael, that it's a close fight. And I don't really agree with that line. I think this fight is much closer. Tom Aspinall -325, Cyril Gane +265.
Tom Aspinall also expresses confidence that he can match Cyril Gane's speed and footwork while holding a clear edge in grappling and power. He points to his knockout record as proof of his finishing ability and says, "One clean shot from him could end the fight at any time." Aspinall adds that in his last performance he was conserving energy for 5 rounds and not throwing with full power, yet still secured a knockout, showing how dangerous his striking can be.
I think I match up pretty well against him. I think I'm equally as fast as him. I move equally as well. The difference is I can grapple. I've got a lot of power. And I think that's pretty undeniable at this stage of my career. I've got a lot of knockouts on my record, mate. I have to touch you once, and I wasn't even throwing heavy tonight. I thought it was going to be a 5-rounder. I didn't mean to knock him out. I was pretty sure that was going to be a 5-round fight tonight, and just takes one shot, mate, at heavyweight, especially with me throwing.
Tom Aspinall further reflects on finally securing the matchup with Cyril Gane after more than years of delay, noting it will be the 4th time they've been scheduled to fight. With the bout set for October 25th in Abu Dhabi, he says his goal is to end Gane's title hopes once and for all.
Finally, we're back after over a year hiatus. Cyril finally signed on the dotted line. This is the 4th time we've been matched up together, and now we are matched up for the 25th of October, Abu Dhabi. Me and Cyril, the 4th attempt is here, and this is Cyril's 3rd title shot. We are going to try and get rid of Cyril Gane from the title picture for good.
Meanwhile, Joe Rogan points out that despite being a massive heavyweight at 6'5" and nearly 250 pounds, Cyril Gane moves with remarkable speed and fluidity, even comparing his footwork to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He says Gane has redefined how striking is seen in the heavyweight division, but questions whether that style will be enough to overcome Tom Aspinall.
But I mean, Cyril Gane, who's 6'5", 247 pounds, moves like a 170-pounder. It's crazy. He's bouncing like Wonderboy, like bouncing like this the entire fight, bouncing, throwing feints, like completely changed the standard of heavyweight striking, and I'm not exaggerating. I watched it 3 times. I watched it today, in fact. I watched it in the gym today while I was working out.
So better than like in Gane in terms of movement, in terms of he's like the best moving heavyweight.
There's no question he is the best moving heavyweight I've ever seen. No question.
Michael Bisping also shared his reaction to the announcement. He noted that Tom Aspinall has already defeated most of the top heavyweights in impressive fashion, but warned that Cyril Gane presents a different kind of challenge. Bisping compared both Gane and Aspinall to Georges St. Pierre for their athleticism, speed, and agility, but pointed out that Gane's lack of grappling cost him against Jon Jones and could once again be his downfall against Aspinall.
Now, when you look at the UFC heavyweight rankings, as I say, Tom has beat most of them, and he's beat them in style, and he's knocked them all out. Curtis Blade, Sergey Pavlovich, Alexander Volkov, whoever they are, he's beaten them all up. But Cyril Gane is a little bit different. Now, of course, Jon Jones beat Cyril Gane in quick fashion, took him down in the first round, submitted him with a front choke. But Cyril Gane is the same as Tom Aspinall in terms of athletic ability. When I say that Tom Aspinall is a heavyweight Georges St. Pierre, that kind of goes to Cyril Gane as well. The man's gigantic, he's very quick, he's agile, he's light on his feet, he could run any sport on the planet, and he's almost like Georges St. Pierre and Tom Aspinall in the fact that he's got all those athletic attributes and qualities, but he doesn't have the grappling. That's what cost him against Jon Jones, and that's probably what's going to cost him against Tom Aspinall.
Michael Bisping calls the matchup a risky one because it's heavyweight MMA, but believes Tom Aspinall holds the grappling advantage. He points out that Tom has been training jiu-jitsu since he was 15 and expects his father will push him to use it. Bisping reminds fans that Cyril Gane once forced Francis Ngannou to wrestle, proving how dangerous he is on the feet, though he still favors Aspinall to come out on top.
You never know, he could clip him. This is a dangerous fight, this is heavyweight MMA, but Tom Aspinall can grapple. We've seen him take people down. He's done jiu-jitsu since he was about 15 years old. His dad is going to be on his case, and that's an absolute fact, saying, hey, you're not messing with this guy. Take him down, show him what you can do, show the world your grappling capability. Remember, Cyril Gane turned Francis Ngannou into a wrestler, okay? So he's a very, very credible threat on the feet. But of course, I do fancy Tom Aspinall to get the job done. The fact that he isn't fighting Jon Jones is insane, but we've talked about that till the cows come home, so I'm not going to bore you on that subject anymore. But just you wait, Jon Jones is probably going to pop up on Twitter. If he doesn't beat Cyril Gane as fast as what Jon did, guaranteed we're going to get some tweets.
Senior MMA journalist Ariel Helwani also discusses Tom Aspinall's first official title defense against Cyril Gane, noting that the matchup had been talked about for years. He explains that Aspinall pushed for the fight to take place in Abu Dhabi because of the favorable taxes and its closeness to home, and the UFC agreed.
Aspinall, Tommy, defending his undisputed gold, technically for the very first time against the pride of France, the French prince himself, Bon Gamin himself, the one and only Cyril Gane. These two have been going back and forth for the better part of 2, maybe 3 years. Well, this was the fight that we all thought was going to happen in Tom's official first title defense, and so it is in fact going to happen. Tom wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. That was the sense that we got when he became undisputed champion. He didn't want to wait for New York. Let's be honest, the tax is a little better over there in Abu Dhabi compared to New York for an Englishman, for anyone, if we're being 100% honest. And so he wanted to be active. He wanted to fight in October. He wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. It's closer to home, and so they obliged.
MMA Guru also reacts with excitement to the fight announcement and predicts Tom Aspinall will secure a first-round knockout against Cyril Gane. He points out that if Tai Tuivasa was able to drop Gane after being dominated, then a sharper and faster fighter like Aspinall would likely catch him even sooner.
But Aspinall versus Gane, scary matchup. I think Aspinall's going to win by KO in the first round. If Tai Tuivasa can ever drop you on your ass in an MMA fight after you've beaten him up for the whole first round, if he can find a way to find your chin in that second round and drop you at any point in your career, I think Aspinall will find it in the first round, and I do think we'll see a first round Tom Aspinall KO.
MMA Guru says a win for Cyril Gane would break him, warning that some fans, especially longtime Jon Jones supporters, would suddenly start backing Gane. He picks Tom Aspinall to win, arguing that while Gane is elusive on the feet, his weak grappling is a major issue against someone like Tom.
You know, if Cyril Gane wins, my life will crumble before my very eyes. You understand this, right? We can't have Cyril Gane win. There's gonna be a conglomerate of MMA fans that are suspiciously pro Gane here for no reason whatsoever. Okay? Now, these may be considered former Jon Jones fans that now have nowhere to go because Jones retired, that will now pretend to be Cyril Gane fans and pretend to want Cyril Gane to win for the good of the sport. I just think he's way better. Tom Aspinall's the correct prediction. It is a very risky matchup. Cyril Gane is very, very technical. Cyril Gane is harder to hit than any former opponent of Tom Aspinall. I just think his grappling is a weakness. And he'll be thinking about that in a fight with Tom. And while you're thinking about that, you've also got to think about being knocked out with any punch you get hit with.
On the other hand, Henry Cejudo views Tom Aspinall's fight with Cyril Gane as a major step, pointing to Gane's size and mobility as factors that will prevent Aspinall from dominating like he has against others. He says this matchup is a true test for Aspinall and could also reveal whether Jon Jones plans to return for the heavyweight title.
Give him the one contender, Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane is somebody that's a big heavyweight, that's very agile. I don't think Tom Aspinall gets rid of him right away like he has with other people. And I think that'll be a big indication if Jon Jones wants to come back and reclaim that bout once again.
Kamaru Usman noted that Cyril Gane often doesn't get the recognition he deserves despite being a well-rounded fighter with smoother movement, sharp striking, and dangerous tools across the board. At the same time, he praised Tom Aspinall's speed, press boxing, and knockout power, admitting those traits make it hard to pick against him. Usman viewed their matchup as a true high-level contest.
Cyril Gane people forget how fantastic he is. A guy that can kind of float around the octagon, touch you, kick you, hit you with elbow. He's just a complete game. But man, Tom's movement, his boxing, speed, and his power, it's very, very difficult to doubt this man anymore.
Chael Sonnen said the fight between Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane was a key turning point for the heavyweight division. He explained that while he usually leaned toward the biggest fight available, sometimes a strategic matchup was better for the sport's long-term direction. Sonnen noted that according to Gane, this fight had already been booked and cancelled 4 times, making it the right matchup now for both the rankings and the division's future.
Aspinall versus Gane is a massive transitional fight for the heavyweight division. Now, you got to understand where we're at. And I'm a checkers player. When it comes to matchmaking, that is a unique skill and vision. But I will always go with low-hanging fruit. It's just the way my mind works. I take the biggest fight for right now. But sometimes you're playing chess. And I admire the guys that can do that. I admire the guys that can stand back, look at the board, not think about what's right now, think about what could be. Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall. According to Cyril Gane, he just did an interview. They tried to make this fight 4 times. And for rankings and for the integrity of our rankings, I get it.
Chael Sonnen highlighted Cyril Gane's decorated kickboxing background, estimating his record at around 27-3, though he admitted he sometimes mixed it up with 29-2. He said that the level of striking experience made Gane a dangerous opponent for anyone in the heavyweight division. Sonnen contrasted this with Tom Aspinall, who built much of his success by keeping fights standing and finishing opponents with knockout power in a similar fashion. He explained that with both men favoring striking but bringing different levels of experience, the matchup created a unique clash of styles that had drawn major attention.
And it's a hard matchup. By the way, Cyril is a very decorated kickboxer. Off the top of my head, I believe he was 27-3 in professional kickboxing. 27-3. I get he and Adesanya's record confused one time. One of them was 29-2 and the other one was 27-3. I'm sharing for you when you're Tom Aspinall and you beat 6 men all the same way, which is stand up and by knockout. It's a matchup-wise, it's an interesting match.
Matt Brown noted that both fighters carried pressure into the matchup, but he believed Tom Aspinall faced the greater burden given the state of the heavyweight division and the implications for his legacy. He explained that a win for Cyril Gane could hurt the division's credibility, while Aspinall had the chance to cement himself as the standout heavyweight. Brown added that even a close fight or a slight stumble from Aspinall could shape how the division was viewed and affect his place within it.
It's almost an unfair comparison, right? When we talk about pressure versus pressure, everybody's under tremendous pressure. But I guess when you kind of look at it from not just pressure, but potential legacy and career and what's on the line, I think it's hard to not go with Tom Aspinall because the heavyweight division is on the line. If Gane goes in and beats him, no disrespect to Gane, love the guy. the heavyweight division loses a lot of respect. Even if Tom goes out there and it's a close fight, or he gets dropped and then has to come back, or something, like, the heavyweight division has so little respect right now, probably deservedly so, I think. You know, even with Gane getting his 3rd title shot in a couple years, like, Tom has to show that he is the heavyweight division. You know, he has to prove that to the world. Like, I am, you know, the heavyweight division's not just, but like, I'm so good that the heavyweight division is right. This is kind of his thing that he has to go out there and prove to the world.
Matt Brown added that the result could influence future matchups, including the possibility of Tom Aspinall facing Jon Jones. He explained that Jones would be paying close attention to any flaws or mistakes from Aspinall, which could shape what happens next. With the heavyweight division already fighting for respect, Brown stressed that this bout marked a pivotal point in Aspinall's career.
If he goes out there and loses to Gane, you know, the division already is not respected. That brings Tom down significantly, I think, right? And of course, you know, the potential Jon Jones fight, which is whatever, who knows, right? Like, how he beats Gane, assuming he does, may play a factor too. Like, if it turns out to be a close fight, again, John's gonna be on his phone with Twitter open, watching this fight, like, just waiting for Tom to get dropped, get leg kicked and limping a little bit, or, you know what I mean? John can't wait for that moment.
And that's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about the matchup? Share your thoughts in the comments section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.